here's my review of In Your Dreams. I thought that this was a very enjoyable film, but I think that you do have to go in knowing that this is a kids' movie. This is aimed towards younger audiences. But that being said, I still think that this was a very enjoyable movie that I think that I wouldn't really say like adults will love, but I think that they can definitely find something to enjoy. The basic premise of this movie is this family where we're following the two children, Stevie and Elliot, and their parents are kind of getting divorced, and she's kind of adjusting. Stevie is adjusting with like the life of maybe not being one big happy family together. Because at the beginning, like we see how close that they are, and then you see how like her mom's gonna get a different job, and just a bunch of things are changing very quickly for her. And so within their dreams, they're able to see the Sandman. It's not really explained really how, but they're able to see and travel into their own dreams. And it's very creative with the visuals. Whether they're meeting this like toy character, I can't remember his name. I think I recognize the voice though. It's a very familiar voice who's helping them navigate through the dream world. And there's also a really fun reference to The Shining in here that I really appreciated. And this movie is very filled with like very beautiful creative animation that I really liked, especially because they're like this movie has to do with dreams, so it's creative, and I really appreciate that. But a lot of this is just Stevie and her brother bonding and also adjusting to her mom getting a new job, them not maybe being able to see each other as much, and just like her family really just not being as close as it will be. And I think that it was all done in a very mature way. Like I said, this is targeted towards kids, and it very much is. But there's a lot of nuance here, and maybe stuff that I think adults can get out of this movie and enjoy. Seeing them journey through the dream world to see the Sandman, to get him to fix their parents' marriage, it feels, because it's such a personal and such an adult thing, it makes the stakes feel much higher. It makes the movie feel a lot grander because, like I said, obviously this is a kids movie, but when you're dealing with such like real stakes, like them trying to fix their parents' marriage, it just feels so genuine because the emotion feels real. And like I think it just elevates the movie to a much better level than maybe it could have been just another generic Netflix movie. And don't get me wrong, there are some definitely generic things. There are some very kiddie jokes in here, but there's also some genuinely really funny moments that I think this movie does very well. And I think that just like the core like structure, like the two siblings bonding, Elliot and her brother, or Stevie and Elliot, just bonding. I think that their characters are just enjoyable, and I think that they're just got such a fun dynamic because they're polar opposites. Like, of course, like they're both very young, but Elliot is much younger than Stevie, and so he's a lot more immature. And in many ways, Stevie has to almost act like a parental figure to Elliot, especially within the dream world, and even on the outside because she's worried that if her parents get divorced, she'll have to be more responsible. And I think that there's a lot of, at least that's what I read into it. Maybe I'm just looking too deep into it, and I thought maybe it's more of like the subtlety. But I just found this to be not an amazing movie, but a very pleasant surprise. And I'm upset that I didn't check it out back when it came out back in November because it would have been on my ranking. But I thought that this was a really fun movie. Not amazing, but pretty good.